Hello everyone! Welcome to the 10-week Guide My Wellness course. This is week 3 called Documenting Results. I'm your coach, Laura Lake, and this week we will cover different ways we can document results. And there's a picture of me, and actually beside that is some of my results. Foundation. Why do we document results? Some of us aim for a number on the scale like pounds, kilograms, or stones. Others reduce the risk of disease for maybe cancer, diabetes, or heart attack. Others want to attain a performance goal for things like sports or even their job. We can use more accurate tools like BMI, body fat percentage, waist or hip circumference, and then there's the ever-popular aesthetic goals. Why else do we document? For the benefits, of course. The benefits of documenting results are as follows. But the list I'm going to keep in the full course, and for the beta course, I'd love to know what you guys think some of the benefits are. Now I've left the pictures on the slides to give you a little bit of an idea of what some of the benefits may be. Where we start. On this slide, I show the general 6 areas that we tend to use when we start our wellness journey. And I'm not going to get into detail in the beta course. I'm just going to list what they are. So the first one tends to be the most popular. It's weight and BMI. Now BMI stands for Body Mass Index. The next one is counting calories, which you can use different websites for, different apps for, and you write down everything that you eat, everything that you drink. Then there's body fat percentage, which we can also use a scale, or as shown, the body caliper. Then there's physical ability for things like how many push-ups, how far you can run, your heart rate. There's different medical tests that either your doctor can perform, your pharmacist, or even you at home. So maybe things like your blood pressure, your blood sugar, different blood tests. Then there's body measurements and body measurement ratios. But what is the reason we use these different methods? The reason is in the full course only, but again, I would love to hear why you think people use these different methods. This week, where we're going to start is with what I call the wellness wheel. So what are the benefits to using the wellness wheel? Well, for number 1, it's quick. With one glance, you can tell which areas need additional support or improvement. Number 2, it's holistic. We're not just measuring diet and exercise, but we're measuring 6 different areas of health. Number 3, it's visual. So it not only satisfies the technical mind, being very detail-oriented, but also the conceptual mind, where we're talking about feelings and not just hard numbers that we can measure. Number 4, specific results. We get to measure what is important to us and balance the wheel. So what is this wellness wheel? Well, it's the bed mass of wellness on a wheel. So if you remember from last week, B is bed plus rest, E is your emotional health, D is determine and decide your why, M is make your meals, A is activity, and S is your surroundings. And we've labeled each slice of the pie with different letters. The top 3 are your interior factors, and the bottom 3 are your exterior factors. But how does it all work? Well, we're just documenting our bed mass of wellness on the shape of a wheel. So we rank ourselves on how we feel in each area on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being poor and 10 being excellent. Then we write notes on why we chose each number for each section. And with each number, that is our score. We're going to add our numbers from all the areas to get your total score. So with 6 areas, and a score of 10 each, that's a max score of 60. 1, 2, skip a few. Worksheet review. Questions. Number 1, complete your foundation wellness wheel using your basic knowledge of the bed mass of wellness. So there's the blank wellness wheel, and I am going to color in my numbers. So there are my numbers for last week. And you can see that I've colored in each section. And yes, I've used half numbers. And the total is 36 out of 60. So basically, I'm just over half, which means I'm doing not so bad. I could be doing a lot better, but some areas are better than others. So why have I chosen these numbers? Here are some of my notes. So sleeping. I've had less time to fall asleep, and I'm actually staying asleep. Like for the first time in years, I'm sleeping like 7 hours a night, and I'm not getting up to pee all the time. For some people, that's TMI, but that's okay. We're talking about health. E, I'm on a new medication, one that's not making me sick, but actually helping me with my anxiety. D, I'm better focused, and I have more mental clarity. I'm not sure if you noticed that in some of my Periscope casts on Mondays, but I find that with this elimination diet that I was on and drinking the Shakeology, as you can tell in M, that I've been able to be more focused. A, well, with that elimination diet, my calories were pretty low, so I wasn't actually doing full-on exercise. I was just walking, which is why my activity is so low. And S, well, I've been to more events, and I've been around people. I'm an extrovert. That's where I get my energy. So being at home and alone for most of the day, it's not so good for me. So I've made an effort to be out and about. Question number 2. List specific benefits to measuring results that resonate with you. So if I only measured one thing, I'd miss out on all the change happening in my body. When I see improvement in any of these tools that I use to measure, but not necessarily all of these areas, I still get the feeling of accomplishment and motivation, so I keep going. Number 3, why do you use certain traditional measuring techniques? I find the closer that I get to each one of my goals, the more accurate tools I use. And what I mean by this is at first, we tend to use very inaccurate tools like the scale. Then I move into body measurements, and I've actually been measuring how well I can walk upstairs. But as I reach my ideal weight and size range, I will switch to more of a body fat percentage as my primary tool. Number 4, what could you measure for each area of the bed mass of wellness? Now, part of this is covered in the full version, but I'd still like to know what different things matter to you in each of these areas. So for B, I've written down things like the amount of hours of sleep and a Pomodoro timer, which I think we've mentioned before, and the number of times that I wake up. For E, I've listed the number of days of meditation or mindfulness and my stress levels. D, things like what my goals are, clarity on my priorities, and the number of times that I get distracted. That's very important to me. M, the number of healthy meals each week, which I thought about making up a calendar for myself and just checking off how many I consider healthy, and if I've eaten anything I shouldn't. Then there's things like calories and the amount of money that I've spent on takeout. Activity. The time that I spend exercising is important and isn't important at the same time. It's how I've used that time. Then there's things like repetition, distance, time on my feet. S. Oh, yes, time outside. The number of hours that I spend working or just busy working. And then there's the time that I spend watching TV. Number 5. Which areas do you need to address first? This is going to be different for everybody. So if we look back to my wellness wheel, we'll notice that my activity and sleep are going to be the areas that I need to work on. So it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and I'm completely exhausted. I was in a play, and then I was doing HelCon, and oh my God, after doing the Monday morning mindfulness yesterday, I laid my head down, and all of a sudden I was asleep for 4.5 hours. I can almost never take a nap in the middle of the day. So I need to work on getting to bed on time and then getting up and exercising with Pio first thing in the morning. And then I can stretch and strengthen and renew after all this soreness and being on my feet. So, do you have any questions about the wellness wheel? First thing I want you to do is take a deep breath, because that was a lot. Okay, we're going to do this together. And in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Star Trek and HelCon this past weekend, I posted a picture of my cat being all silly, and it says, "Live long and prosper." And my cat's name is Suki. Suki is a Japanese name for loved one. It just suited her quite nicely. Have a great week. I will see you next week. Bye.